After spending several hours playing Skull and Bones on stream and off stream, I'm ready to give you my impressions for what I think about Year 2, Season 1. Bear in mind, this is not a review because not everything in Season 1 of Year 2 has come out. We're still waiting for the Death Tides PvP mode during the mid-season. Hopefully that'll be well worth the wait, especially for pirates that have been wanting the PvP mode added to the game. Alright, so what do I think about Year 2 Season 1? I think that it's a vast improvement overall from Year 1. The dev team at Ubisoft Singapore has done a fantastic job continuing to update this game and listen to feedback from the community. And I'm very impressed with how far Skull and Bones has come since it launched a year ago. It's not a perfect game. There's still some things that they have yet to add that we want, like large ships. But those are coming later this year. The frigate in the summer, the corvette in the winter. Plus, we'll be getting some land combat too. That's going to be very interesting how that's done. I guess we'll just have to wait and see whenever it comes to the land combat. So yeah, they are listening to the fan base. They are trying to add more stuff to the game and flesh it out even further. So overall, what do I like about the season? I think that the UI is better, like the mini-map in the top right-hand corner. I like the fact that you have a mini-map both when you're walking around on the islands and sailing around on your ship. I do think that's much needed. And the regular map looks really good. Obviously, they updated the map because the original version of the map during Year 1 had a big tear right here because they were originally planning on having an expansion up here in this part of the map, but I don't think that's going to happen now. Or at least they just, if they do plan on eventually giving us an expansion, either way, they just probably felt like it was kind of an eyesore, and they decided just to do away with it. But I think I do prefer this map, even though the other map had more of an old school, like physical map quality to it. I didn't dislike the old map, but I like this map as well. I think this map is fine the way it is, so it's nothing I dislike. So what do I want to talk about next? The Smuggler's Pass is about the same as it has been in previous seasons, with like 90 ranks total and 30 for each one. Quartermaster, Gunner Master, Shipmaster. So I've been working my way through it, and it's okay. I mean, the cosmetics, I do think that they're doing a better job with the cosmetics. They've had some good cosmetics. They've had some, well, in my opinion, ridiculous cosmetics, but that's, you know, teach their own. It's all in the eye of the beholder. Everyone has different tastes, so I won't argue with that. But I do prefer, I guess you could say, something more, I guess, realistic when it comes to drip for our pirates. But at the same time, I understand that we have sea monsters and we have flying ships. I get that counter argument. I just prefer my pirates have a more, I guess, realistic, gritty feel and vibe. But once again, teach their own. So when it comes to the missions where you earn the Ascended modules, yeah, I really wish we had more of those, because once you go through them with Blackwood, they don't appear anymore. I mean, you get like one mission where you can go get like 10 Cooper bars, the seasonal currency, but that's it. Because I think that's something that we need to get more of, more Cooper bars. So that would be nice. I mean, there is a way down here in the Smuggler's Network to get more more Ascended modules, but you need like 200 Cooper bars, and the limited stock is what you can only get, like 2 at a time, like every few minutes or whenever this thing does refresh in 5 days. So I guess in 5 days, or is it, I don't know really how it works specifically, but I just wish there was more ways to get the Ascended modules, because I think that more players would like to have Ascended modules. So I'll talk about that as well right now. So let's go ahead and go into some of the new things. Now, we have the ability to go to the blacksmith and ascend our weapons. And I have ascended a few weapons on one of my ships. So I got my Halloween guns ascended to level 2, I guess, because you can get 3 levels total. And we'll just go with this one. So I got the basic, I got the advanced. I don't have this one yet because I need to get more Ascended modules, and I still need to get the Masterwork kit, and that's easier said than done. So I need to get that, not only to upgrade one of my ships, well, at least one of my ships. I want to upgrade them all, to level 7. But yeah, I think you have to go to World Tier 2 to get the Master Kit, if I'm not mistaken. I'm currently in World Tier 1. But I guess the one thing I wish that was different when it came to reforging the items is I wish it was like where you could just pick which one you wanted instead of it being RNG based. I realize a lot of games do RNG. I think it was the case in Ghost of Tsushima Legends. My fiance Riley and I used to play that all the time. And for like some of the additional like modifiers on the weapons, like you had to RNG that to get the one you wanted. But it's the same premise here. I just personally don't like it. I think most people feel the same way because if you don't get the particular, I guess, modification that you want, then you have to re-roll it. And of course, each roll is going to cost you 3 upgrade parts. And yeah, it's kind of annoying. Plus, you're looking through it, trying to determine which one you like, which one you don't like. I'm just going with this right now, for better or worse. Maybe I'll re-roll it eventually. But I mean, I do like the fact that we can add modifiers to our weapons. I like that. But I wish we had the ability to get more Ascended modules. I wish we could get the Masterwork Kit easier. And I wish that we didn't have the RNG to deal with when it came to the modifications. But, that's just the way it is, I suppose. Okay, so that's my opinion about, the Ascended modules. Overall, I like them, except for the things I've mentioned. The shipwright. So at the shipwright, the ships have been given an additional upgrade. So if you maxed out your ship upgrade during year 1, you can max them out again. But the problem is you're going to have to go get, I think, one of those master kits. And at the moment, I don't have a master kit. And I obviously don't have enough pieces of 8 either because I made a small mistake when it came to the skill tree for the helm. I'll talk about that in a minute. But hopefully I'll eventually be able to get some master kits so I can make some upgrades. Because I'd like to get my ships to level 7. Because I have several of them at level 6. And I just need to get a few of them up to level 7. Well, the ones that I actually use for combat. They're also my helm ships that I'll talk about right now. So next is the helm. And the helm system is, for the most part, still the same, like when it comes to the map. But the upgrades is what they changed. And I do like the skill tree. It does take some getting used to. But my advice to you, and this is a mistake I made, and this is nobody else's fault, this is my own, is for some reason I don't know what happened. I just went crazy and I started getting these. And the problem is I can have up to 34 manufactories because I grabbed those. And I'm not one of these helm operators that needs all the factories, all the manufactories. I just usually rock around with like maybe 10 factories at the most. So I definitely don't need 34. So my advice is if you're like me and you have no intention of maxing out the manufactories across the entire map, then maybe just do these top 3. So yeah, down here in Helm Empire, just do that. And maybe do one of these just to get you, I guess, over 10. But just be mindful of the Helm Empire bottom portion here. So the top portion, I agree with Death Wish. I think this part you definitely need to focus on first. Like, spend your pieces of 8 upgrading all this. Yeah, I still need to upgrade these. Because, see how it says 1 out of 3? So, yeah, you got to get those fully upgraded. So, I haven't done that yet. So, that's going to cost even more pieces of 8. So, yeah, max these out first. I would max all this out. And depending on whatever your strategy is. Now, everyone's going to do this differently. Some people have their own opinions about it. And me, I'm more of an opportunist. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I got this one because of a deed from the Smuggler's Run, and these two I just got. I got this one last night and this one this morning because they just happened to pop up, right? And I just went over there and took them over. I'm just an opportunist. Ideally I'm trying to take this area over, right, and have all this connected eventually. But if I see something pop up, and I'm able to go over there and no one else has tried to go after it yet, I'll take it. Especially since I like 34 option, like up to 34. Yeah, my bad. We all make mistakes in life. So with this, you want to make sure that the materials are being produced that you want made. I think most people are going to continue using the manufactory to get pieces of 8. But there's obviously additional items you can have made as well. So if I get the gold skull upgrade, then I can have, let's see, 5 pieces of 8 being manufactured an hour from here, instead of 3.36 pieces of 8. Yeah. So that requires upgrades, obviously. So you have to do upgrades. And with the ships, okay, so this is how I do it. I built a whole bunch of patties a while back when I first started getting into the Helm Empire a year ago. And that's what I mainly use because they have the easiest material. And if you upgrade them to level 8, then they become like low-risk ships. Now, I think some areas it's higher risk, so these level 7s are still low risk here. But if I come over here in Africa, I think they're higher risk because I was just playing with that earlier. So yeah, level 6. So the level 7 and up is low risk. So you definitely want to make sure your manufacturer ships are at least level 7. These ships, I'll probably save these for last and just try and get them upgraded to level 7 before I use them as the manufacturer ships. But the patties have always been my manufacturer ships of choice. And once again, that's one reason why I try to limit how many manufacturers I have. Because you can end up like making a whole bunch of pieces of 8. At least I was able to in year 1. I mean, I had at one time like I think 600,000 pieces of 8. So it just really depends on how you wish to play the game. But the skill tree system is all right. It's fine. But I guess my goal is to claim as many of the French locations as possible. Like down here, I'll show you real quick. Let me close that. So like in this area, like where the French control these, I want to try and ultimately get as many of these as I can. But I'm an opportunist, and if random ones pop up, I'm gonna go grab them. Because right now I'm producing 10 pieces of 8 an hour. But there's also another way you can get the Ascended modules, but you have to unlock it. So I have to get the Ascended module production. So this might be another way that you're able to get Ascended modules, but as you can tell, it's going to take several hours just to manufacture one Ascended module. Another reason why I wish it was a little bit easier, less of a pain in the ass to get those modules. Now, when it comes to the Cooper bars, which is the seasonal currency, I've noticed that one of the best ways to go get Cooper bars is going after the sea monsters. I think that's one of the few options you have when it comes to getting the Cooper bars. So, like with the convoys, and I think with the elite warships, I don't think they pay out Cooper bars, but the sea monsters do. So yeah, that's just something you have to consider. Of course, some of them are more difficult than others. So the best thing to do is go after maybe like the lower tier ones, unless you just have a good crew and you see a whole bunch of players attacking a big one. Then go after a large one and get as many Cooper bars as possible. And that way you can use the Cooper bars over here with Blackwood, and then you can buy all this other cool stuff. So there's some drip you can buy here. That looks okay. I think I bought these ship cosmetics. I bought the jacket. And I guess whenever I have additional Cooper bars available in the future, I'll probably come here and just grab some of these Ascended modules, as many as possible. I mean, you get Ascended modules doing the Smuggler's Pass, so I think I maxed out the Ascended modules already, so I think I claimed all the ones I could claim. So, yeah, unfortunately, I looked, I didn't see any more. I mean, there's some more upgrades I can get, some more upgrade parts. The more the merrier, because now you use them for the Ascended modules for the weapons, not just for ship upgrades. But yeah, I just want more Ascended modules so I can upgrade more guns on more of my ships. It's a very slow process, so you have to be very selective about what you're going to use the Ascended modules for. Make sure they're good guns, good weapons, and make sure you focus on your primary ship. Because we all have a primary ship. Yeah, I mean, I have a few ships. I have a Brigantine. I have the Battle Junk. I have the Sandbuck. And then I also have like a little torpedo boat, which is my sloop. But my main ship is probably the Sandbuck right now. That's one I use more than any other ship. So my advice is to just use your main ship and upgrade those guns first and foremost. So there is one change they did make that a lot of people are very happy with. As you can tell, the hull of my ship is a lot cleaner now. And you can do that easily by going to a manage ship, go to ship cosmetics. And I can do this for all my ships, by the way. So they have a new option where you can just basically disable the armor skin. They mentioned this a few weeks ago that they were going to make this a thing. So I can do this with another ship. So let me select a different ship in my fleet. So which one do I want to pick? Or I guess I'll go with... Yeah, we'll go with my brigantine. Alright, so I'll bring my brigantine out. So some people don't mind the hull, like, because each hull has a different, like, variation to it. But some people just want their ship to look clean. And I'm probably going to do that. I'm probably just going to make the hulls cleaner. So just go to manage ship, go to ship cosmetics, and then go to, this one, and then go to armor skin, and then you can see it disabled. So as you can tell, that's what it looks like without the armor on it. And oh yeah, and by the way, for the brigantine exclusively, there's this glorious deed. So you can see the glorious deed, which I guess makes it look even more intimidating. I don't know if this is cosmetic only, like the glorious dead. I cannot read, but I don't know if I really want that on the front of my brigantine. I think it's just cosmetic. I don't think it adds like increased ramming abilities where it does more damage. But if you want like the armors on any of your ships taken off, all you gotta do is just do that in the ship cosmetics section. So that's one of the big new things they did that a lot of players were asking for, in order for our ships to look, a little bit cleaner. Because, some people just want their ships to look as clean as possible. But overall, I am enjoying the new season and the new year of Skull and Bones. I'm surprised that we're getting a year 2, but I've always known that we've had a dedicated fan base out there. Yes, this is a game that doesn't appeal to everybody. It's not like Warzone. It's not Fortnite. It's not COD. It's not GTA. So obviously there's going to be a lot smaller player base when it comes to Skull and Bones. I mean, there's a smaller player base when it comes to Sea of Thieves, even though Sea of Thieves admittedly is larger than Skull and Bones. By the way, 2 great pirate games in my opinion. I don't really pick a side there. I like both games for different reasons. But overall, I would say that this is a very good year, kicking things off with year 1. I mean, going from year 1 to year 2, I'm very impressed with the changes that they've made to Skull and Bones. And to be fair, Ubisoft Singapore has been slowly making changes throughout the past year, even if some people have not noticed, and other people have said, hey, this game's dead, and blah, blah, blah. Well, truly, a game is not dead as long as people are playing it. And my hope is that year 2 will bring players back and may even, introduce new players to Skull and Bones. And by the way, there is a free weekend coming up, April 17th through the 21st. So if you've never tried Skull and Bones and you're always interested in it, try before you buy, as they say. So you can play it this weekend, April 17th through the 21st. And that's good for like new players and maybe returning players that tried out previous free trials a year ago during Season 1, but they just weren't sold on it back then. Just another opportunity for you to get back into Skull and Bones. My opinion is, I still think that they need to eventually make this game free to play and just rely on the microtransactions from the store as well as the Smuggler's Pass. That's what they should do, but that's just my opinion about it. Because if it was free to play, then I think more people would be inclined to download and play the game, even if they ended up spending money in the store on some various cosmetics for their ships and for their pirate, as well as the Smuggler's Pass. I mean, that's still money in Ubisoft Singapore's pocket right there. But it is on sale, so I think that the price is lower now. It's definitely not worth. I don't know. I mean, a year ago I said it wasn't worth $70. I still don't think it's worth $70, but I think it's had added value since launch a year ago, so it's definitely value-wise more than it was at launch. And I'm impressed that this game has survived over the past year, because a lot of games have not, like Concord. X Defiant is going away, unfortunately, for X Defiant fans. There's definitely a lot of games that don't even make it past year one when it comes to online games. But I think the one advantage that Skull and Bones has is the fact that this is a very unique online game. I mean, yeah, you have World of Warships out there, but not really like a sailor pirate themed one. And I guess that's the box that gets checked here when it comes to Skull and Bones, is that there's enough of us pirate fans out there that just like having our own ships to sail around and upgrade our ships and like modify our ships. And also the Helm Empire is pretty cool. And there's a variety of things to do in the game. I just would like to be able to get the Masterwork kit a little bit easier and more Ascension modules, and maybe do away with the RNG. But I doubt they're going to bother with that. But overall, I think that the only small issue I have is, well, it's a big issue. Well, it's a big ship, but I'm still looking forward to it, the frigate, because we've been asking for large ships for a quick minute, and we're finally getting large ships, like I talked about a moment ago. But I still believe that, year 2, season 1 would have started out with a much larger bang if they would have introduced the frigate this season. But the schooner is a pretty good medium ship. I don't have it yet, but I did try it out during yesterday's stream, because there are missions where they'll let you try out the new ship. And I like the schooner. It's a siege ship. It's also explosive based, and it looks really good. And I think it's going to be a really good medium ship. So a lot of people, I understand, are not happy about the fact that we're still having to wait for the frigate. And it's possible that the team at Ubisoft Singapore just needed a little bit more time to get the frigate ready before the summer. But at least they gave us a decent medium-sized ship, in my opinion. I haven't really fully tried it out yet, but from the little bit of experience I had with it Tuesday, I think that it's going to be a really good medium-sized ship, the schooner. So I'm looking forward to adding the schooner to my fleet. I wasn't a big fan of the Garuda. I know some people like the Garuda. Once again, teach their own. But I just didn't really care for the Garuda. I tried it out after I finally got it and upgraded it. But I think I'm more interested in the schooner. But I do like, bringing out the Brigantine whenever I'm having to do missions that, I have to have one of my fastest ships, even though I'm going kind of slow right now just for the video. But I like how each ship does have a different place, because I think I have one of my smaller ships I use for a healing ship if I ever decide just to be a healer, or I'm doing weekly challenges. And that's something you definitely want to do when you're doing the Smuggler's Pass. If you want to get through the Smuggler's Pass, is do these challenges. I'm still working on my weekly challenges. You also got the seasonal challenges, so if you want to get through the Smuggler's Pass as quickly as possible in order to rank up and get these rewards, including the blueprint for the schooner, which is obviously what I'm focusing on, is trying to get the schooner. Yeah, definitely do the challenges, because you'll get you get XP for it, and you also get smuggler's points. And it's the same system they've had in place since year 1. That's just the way it goes. And I guess the UI, I'll talk about the UI at sea, because it's a little bit different than the first year. I like the fact, once again, that the mini-map's in the right screen, and also you see the wind pattern, so that's really cool. So you get an idea of which direction the wind is blowing, and what landmass you're near, even though you can see it, but you can also see what's over there at that landmass. I also like the new UI for the most part. It took me a little bit to get used to it, but I've already gotten used to it. The fact that, blue down in the bottom left is for shield, green is for stam, white's for your health, and the rest of the buttons are pretty much the same. It's just that the look and the UI has been changed, and also the speed of the ship. You can tell how fast the ship is going down there as well in the compass section. And a lot of people joke about the feeding your ship like food. You're not feeding the ship food. You're feeding the crew. They're the ones you're feeding the fish to, and the coconuts to, and the steaks to, and giving the water to. Okay? That's who the stam goes towards. It's not for the ship. It's for the crew. So I think some people just don't get that, or else they just think it's funny. But anyways, overall, I think that's pretty much all I got to say about year 2, season 1 of Skull and Bones so far. It's been pretty impressive how they've made some significant changes to, appease most of the player base. Most people seem pretty positive about the changes. There's always going to be those out there that are not happy with things or wish they would have done things a little differently. But at the same time, Ubisoft Singapore hasn't given up on this game. And I don't know if that's because of the deal that Ubisoft made with Singapore. Maybe they have no choice. Or maybe they've managed to somehow make money, and maybe they're just trying to break even. And maybe they're going to go further than that with a potential year 3. I don't know if there's going to be a year 3. I would very much like there to be a year 3 in Skull and Bones. I guess I'm not optimistic about it, but we'll just have to wait and see. I guess it just depends on what happens between now and then. Like if by the summer the player base has grown and there's more people buying the game and playing the game and buying the cosmetics and the Smuggler's Pass, then that could very well be a positive sign for the future live service of this game. But I like this game. I really want it to survive for as long as it's able to. But I am once again very impressed with how far it's come since it launched. A lot of people consider the comeback similar to No Man's Sky. Like when No Man's Sky first launched, and I played it whenever it launched, like there really wasn't that much to do. But Hello Games, to their credit, over the past several years have stuck with No Man's Sky, and they've continued to add amazing content and build up the universe of No Man's Sky. Like it is amazing, that game. And I go back to it every now and then, but yeah, I like it whenever studios are able to do that, because nowadays, unfortunately, a lot of games that come out, especially like online games, multiplayer games, they don't come out like 100%. A lot of times they come out bare bones because of pressure from the publisher, trying to get the game out at a certain time period, especially during the holiday season, in order to make sure it gets as many sales as possible. So the dev teams are always under pressure to get things out based off who the superiors, right? The suits, the corporate executives, they say when they want the game out. And so the dev team does their best. But unfortunately, when they're rushed, things are overlooked, mistakes are made. And it is awesome that the community forgives studios for that, especially if the dev team is committed to listening to the feedback, positive and negative, from the community, and work hard to try to improve the game. And I really do feel like, from watching various interviews and deck streams, and of course reading different articles, that the team at Ubisoft Singapore has worked very hard to listen to the community and try to give the community things that they've been asking for over the past year. Maybe not everything, because even they have limitations to what they can and cannot do. Plus, they probably have to get things approved from upstairs of Ubisoft, right? There's some things they'll get approved for. There's some things they won't get approved for. There's also things that financially probably might be out of scope for what they can do. But at the same time, there are some pretty cool things coming to this year of Skull and Bones, which I think are going to continue to add to and flesh out this game even further. Like I said, we're finally getting large ships. I'm excited for both the frigate and the corvette. And we're getting land combat. We're finally going to do some swashbuckling. That's something, along with the large ships, that myself and many others were asking for. And I don't know how good it's going to be. I'm imagining it's going to be very similar to Black Flag, because Ubisoft Singapore, allegedly, rumor mill has it, they're working on the remake for Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which technically Skull and Bones was born from the success of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, because originally it was supposed to be like an online version of Black Flag, but then Skull and Bones went through development hell for the longest time, and they had so many bad decisions being made behind the scenes, and it had to be redone a few times. But here we are in 2025. Somehow this game has survived and has made it to year 2. So I'm hoping that the combat is smooth, even if it is very limited to certain missions, and it's only I'm theorizing it's only going to be like PvE. I don't know if we're going to be able to do PvP, or maybe eventually they'll add PvP land combat, but at first it'll just be PvE. And there's obviously regular enemies will be able to fight with swords and muskets. And I saw, like, in the video, in the showcase video, I guess we can use axes as well. And then I guess there's also going to be like a Halloween themed one where we fight zombie pirates. I mean, that's once again speculation on my part. But yeah, I think that for the most part, pretty positive vibes coming from the Skull and Bones community regarding the way the game is right now, going into year 2, season 1. Very much looking forward to the rest of this year. Hopefully year 2 will not be the last year of Skull and Bones, but at the same time, I think most Skull and Bone fans are happy that we are getting a year 2, because a lot of us were concerned that we'd only get 1 year and then that would be it. But yeah, 2 years is better than 1, and then we'll just play it by ear and hope for a 3rd or maybe 4th year. And, you know, of course, maybe more stuff to do going forward, and maybe more large ships, maybe an expansion, who knows. But overall, I would like to know your thoughts, your views and opinions regarding year 2, season 1 of Skull and Bones. Welcome below in the comments section.